Hello, friends. We're going to do corned beef and cabbage because tomorrow is St. Patty's Day. So I thought I'd get on here and do a little video and show you what I do to make my corned beef and cabbage. It's Doreen here. And let's start with the star of our show for St. Patty's Day dinner, corned beef. Now there's a couple different kinds of corned beef. It's like a tip. This is a point cut, and then there's like a flat one. The point cut kind of has like this, and I'll show you a little bit. Both are a point cut. And then let's just show you what that looks like out of the package. That's nice and marbled with some fatty meat. And you're not going to take this layer of fat off. We're going to cook that in the crock pot. But yeah, that's a point tip. And you'll see that some that are more like rectangle, I guess that's a flat cut. I've done both, but probably I do point cut more than anything. I think it's maybe a little bit cheaper. I'm not really sure. It's been a while since I bought one. So we're going to go ahead, and when you open that up, you'll see there's this little seasoning packet. Do not throw that away. This gives just the guesswork out of your flavor for your corned beef and cabbage. So yeah, you can make up your own seasoning mix, but we do so many things from scratch. We can take a moment to use the seasoning pack for this. I'm gonna wash my hands. And I've got some paper towels ready. So I thought I'd open this package. Let's get our crock pot ready. Now I've had this heating on high for probably like 10 minutes. And we're gonna just open this up. Just giving you a heads up not to have it as messy. Let's use the wider end of it. We're gonna just go through with a knife. Watch your hands, watch your fingers. And I just zip through there and pull it out so I don't have a big mess. I've got a little garbage bowl right here for the wrapper. No, I guess I gotta do it this way. There you go. And you just pull it out of there. That way you don't have all the juices going all over the place. And you'll see that pack is stuck right on there. I'm going to pull that aside. It's all gooey and goobery. You don't have to rinse this off. I know some people rinse their meat, and there's different thoughts out there about that as far as contaminating with bacteria and stuff. But that's for today. We're just going to get some paper towels and pat that dry so we can handle it a little bit better. It's so slippery with that gel. And part of that is probably the blood, but part of it is also just the colors from the corned beef. All right, let's get some more paper towels. And we're just going to basically just put this in our crock pot. Pour some water over the top. We're going to add our seasoning packets. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and add that now. I think I'll put one on the bottom and one on top. I'm doing two because on St. Patty's Day, there's always, you never know if you have stop-bys, and I like to have a little leftover. So, and we're having company today, so we're gonna have us a little get together, play some board games, chit chat, have some good eats. That's what life is about, right? Spending time with friends and family and enjoying each other's company. Well, that's part of life. It's a good part of life. I love to celebrate. All right. And I'm putting the fat cap on the top. So this crock pot is plenty big enough, and I'll read off the poundage. Let's see. I threw the other wrapper away. But this one, the smaller one, is a little bit, not quite 2.5 pounds, and this one is probably like 4 or 5 pounds. So I've got quite a bit going on there. Let's throw that in our garbage bag. And we're going to open up that other packet. I'm not going to put it in until I put the water in. Oh, you know what? I'll just put it on top of the meat. I have made corned beef cabbage. I make it every year. I've been making it for over 40 years. So there's lots of ways I've done it. I've done it on the stove top, slow and low. But the wonderful thing about the crock pot, if you have other things to do, you don't have to fuss over it. Just like if you leave the stove on, you gotta pay attention to more things. I feel like this is a more controlled, even heat. And this amount probably would take close to 8 hours if I do it all on low, but I like to start mine on high. So I'm thinking about 5 or 6 hours. So we're starting it on high. Oh, let's not forget the water. So starting off with 4 cups. I'm just kind of pouring it around right now. I'm not so much pouring it right on the seeds. Some of the seeds will stick onto that seasoning packet, will stick onto the first once I fill it up with water. Got another almost 4 cups of water. We don't need that much. All right. So that's about covering. You can see that it's covering. There's a little tip here sitting out, but I'm not going to cover that because I don't want my crock pot to overflow with juices, because it's going to have a lot of juices from the fat of the meat. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that this corned beef is already salted, so you don't need to add salt and pepper. That seasoning pack is really enough. And we're not going to put the veggies in right now because they will get like mush. So give me a moment to clean up. We'll be back and we can prep our veggies for what we're going to use today. All right, we are back. I cleaned up, had to run out this morning. I had a meeting, so I'm back. I'm getting all of my veggies prepped now. So this has been in here about 4 hours on high. I turned it down to low, and I've got about 2 pounds of white russet potatoes. I'm going to finish peeling those, cut them up. I've got carrots and I've got cabbage. I've got a big onion here. I probably should have put that in the beginning, but I'll go ahead and put that in there now too. Point about the crock pot, the meat in the crock pot, is you can go ahead and cook your meat probably, well, like I did, at least 3 hours, 4 hours before you put the potatoes and the carrots in, and celery, if you were going to add a little celery, because you don't want it to be mush. And another point is, yeah, what was I going to say? I was thinking of 2 things at once. Oh, normally I put a bottle of beer. I use like a stout beer in with the water in the corned beef. But today we're having company, and they have some allergies, so I don't want to put it in there. But let me tell you, that gives it some great flavor. And sometimes when you go to put your veggies in the crock pot, it's going to be too full. So what I do is I take a lot of the water, or some of the water, from from the crock pot, from all the flavored, the juices. Peeled those up. Let me rinse these quick because they're a little dirty. I did have these soaking in a water vinegar bath for about 20 minutes, which I probably didn't need to do because I was peeling, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to peel them or not, but I decided I would peel them this time. Let me give them a couple of rinse. I don't know if I should have soaked them that long. I didn't really quite mean to because I don't know if that probably changes something with the starch. So let's get a sharp knife. I just washed mine. And let's get that. Now let's get these cut up because my onion is a little dirty. And so basically you're just going to cut them. You can cut them in big halves like that. These are a medium to small potatoes. If they were really large, I would cut them maybe into fours. But I think we're going to be okay. Maybe some of the bigger ones might have to be cut down. You basically want to keep in mind for everything to cook evenly, it needs to be about evenly proportioned in your cutting. I probably said that the long way, but it's like here's a little bit of there's some smaller ones in here, so I'm not going to cut those as much. So there's about 4 of us. I've got about, let's see, I think I have about 7 pounds of corned beef. So we'll have leftovers, which I like to have. I love corned beef and cabbage the next day. Of course, I love to have a corned beef sandwich on rye bread. So I haven't found any good rye around here yet that I'm like crazy about. So I did buy another bread. I'll show you that in a moment. So see, these ones are pretty small. I might put those whole ones in there because they're small. So let's get those in our crock pot. And I don't know if I can get a close up here without totally messing up my camera here, but I want you to get a close up of how it looks in that pot. So you see how much juices are still in there? Well, I probably need to take it out. There we go. That's better. Yep. So I'm going to put this camera back. And I might flip that over a little bit now. Let's get a good fork for that. You want to be careful, of course. This water is so hot. And one thing about corned beef, it does shrink down. And if you'll notice too, and I'll bring this up, I'll mention it again, it's got a pink, it does, even when it's done, it has that pink color to it. Doesn't mean it's not done. It's just this, that's the color of it, of corned beef. So it is a tougher cut. So it is better to cook it low and slow if you can. So, and once we put this potatoes in here, that slows up the process of the cooking process. And I can tell it's going to be pretty flooded. So what I'm going to do is get a bowl. And I'm going to save some of this juice because I will use it for cooking my cabbage and some of my other veggies that I can't fit in here. Just be careful because that gets hot. If I'm not going anywhere in the day, I will do it on the stove top because you can get some really big pots and just put everything in their crock pot. You know, there's only a limited space. All right, so let's set that aside. And you want your potatoes probably to cook a good 2 hours, maybe 2.5, 3 hours, depending on how much you have in here. And you don't want to open up the lid a lot because it takes all that heat out. So I'm just going to put this on here. We're going to cut up the onion. And I'm not going to have too much space for my carrots, I think. So it's a good thing I saved that juice, because I can cook them up on the stove top. And that's, I want to cook it in that liquid because I want those flavors to get into my carrots. That's the thing I love about corned beef and cabbage in one pot, is you got all these amazing flavors that come together, and it's like, wow, a party in your mouth. All right. I'm just going to cut these pretty big chunks, and we'll probably throw a little bit of garlic in there too, if we can. Can I fit it all in here? You know what? I might save one for my broth. You can put a couple bay leaves in here, which I should have done in the beginning, but I kind of was in a rush this morning, so I forgot about that. So next, oh, I want to get my garlic. Sorry about the close-up. All right. Let's get a couple of cloves of those. I grew up, I was born and raised in Connecticut, and we also, I don't know if corned beef and cabbage is what we call New England dinner, but we have what's called a boiled New England dinner. And if some of you are from the East Coast, now I've been away from there for years. I don't know if it's just this like smoked picnic shoulder, the pork shoulder that you cook with the potatoes, onions, carrots, celery. If that's the New England boiled dinner, or if it was just corned beef and cabbage, you can kind of let me know in the comments if you remember that. And do people still do that anymore? I mean, I don't hear about it too much. I actually talked to somebody today. They don't celebrate St. Paddy's Day. Well, I guess not everybody is Irish, but that's a big deal, like in New England, right? Let me know if it's a big deal where you are. I think any reason why we can have a celebration. But the story of St. Patrick, is a pretty amazing story. It's really not about drinking beer and partying. But, so we're going to close that up tight. And now we'll get our carrots peeled. And we'll get some celery going. Let's get the carrots. So we're having 4 people. I like to have 2 carrots per person. That's how I kind of roll with that. And if you want to have some leftovers, you've got to keep that in mind too. So I've got one, and this one is pretty small, so let's not, it's pretty thin. So we got 2, 4, 6, one more. Let's use this big one, 8. And let's put a couple more in there, which is almost the whole bag, but this bag is, I think it's a 2-pound. Yeah, 2-pound bag of carrots. If you're doing a whole family, there's no reason why you couldn't just do that whole bunch. So I'm going to get to peeling these, and I'll be back when I'm done, and we'll cut those up, and we'll get the cabbage going. All right, I'm gonna prep the cabbage. Now, I've got about a small to medium sized cabbage, and this here has some brown spots, so I'm gonna pull off that layer. It's not the best one, I guess. I didn't have my glasses on when I picked it out. But basically, you're gonna take that part, and you're gonna pull that out, and what I do is just take that end and slam it down on the countertop. It should, well, it usually loosens that up. Sometimes you need to take your paring knife. I'm gonna take my paring knife and just go along the round part of that butt of the cabbage. Just watch your fingers. Let's try it again. Be able to pull that right out. Well, let's use the knife. Let's go alongside here. I'm going to go down the middle because I want to cut it into 4 wedges. And just take your paring knife. Let me show you how it is in the middle. I'm just going to take that white part out. Sometimes it comes out easier than others. This one's being a little stubborn, so just take one moment to cut that out. That part's pretty woody. You don't want to eat that. We want the leaves. And I'm going to go in with our paring knife, cutting out that little woody part. And it has not a ton of green leaves, but especially my crew that I have tonight, 2 of us like cabbage and 2 don't. So it's going to go quick because cabbage really shrinks down. So we're just going to cut it down the middle. Put it in my container. I'm going to fill it up with water and let it soak a little bit. And I love when let's clean up this mess. On my vinegar, on my cabbage, I like to put a little white vinegar or apple cider vinegar, a little bit of butter and salt and pepper. That tastes so yummy. Yum, 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 yum. Or you can even take a little bit of spicy brown mustard. Have a few dollops of that on your plate for dipping your corned beef and your veggies in. That tastes very good. We always put out a little, either the bottle or a little prep dishes of vinegar on the table. So now I'm gonna put my stock pot on the stove, and I'm gonna take those juices I saved and put it in the stock pot. I got a pretty big stock pot because that's what we're gonna cook our carrots or celery and then our cabbage in. While you weren't looking, I added a bay leaf in here, and I have a couple bay leaves in there. So you see there's not that much. There's probably like, what, 4 cups? I'm going to put a little bit of water in there. Not a whole lot because I don't want to dilute down the flavors because we have enough liquid to cook the meat and enough liquid to cook the rest of this. So I'm probably putting like maybe 2 cups in there, maybe not even. And I'm going to put another clove of garlic in there in a moment. And we'll put this on, let's see. I guess we'll put this on the front burner because it'll be better for, and I'm going to get that started out on high and then turn it down. We've got an hour till guests come. Figure an hour before we eat. So we've got 2 hours. So we've got quite a bit. I'm just going to get this going because I want to get it done. And then I'll show you something else exciting to add to this dish. Well, I think exciting. So we'll see you back in a few. So I got my cabbage soaking in the water. We'll let that soak for about 10-15 minutes. All right, it is almost showtime, and my potatoes, let's kind of check. I have a feeling they are far from being done because I had so much in here, and this is true. Some of them are a little fork tender, so that's okay. But I'm going to take some of these whole ones and put them in my pot with my simmering. They're cool. They're close, but there's a few of them that, let's see, some whole ones are, that one's fork tender, so that's doing good. All right, we're better than what I thought. Got this on a low simmer. Let's see how these are. Oh, these are perfect. So let's just keep that on low simmer while we're moving everything along. And now I'm going to take my cabbage and drain that. And I'll turn my camera around to the sink. Let's see. Oh, let's see if we can scoot it down. And I got a lot going on. Let me clear this off. Let me dry that off. Oh, I got to show you my table too. I don't have the silverware on there yet, but it looks pretty. I'm going to just pick up this basket. I'll put this, let it drain here. Take a look. I like always to take a look to see what, it's not too bad. But it's good to rinse it off because there's sand that gets up, sometimes gets in all those little nooks and crannies. So, and then I'm just going to take this basket and run some cold water through. All right, and then we're going to put it in our salad spinner. And if you've ever seen any of my videos before, use that. This is great for your iceberg lettuce or any kind of loose leaf lettuce that you get in the grocery mart. And this spins it. And you really don't have to have it because we're going to be getting it in water. So I don't even know if I really need to do that. But I just want to show you my little gadget. So there we go. Just help spin out any little less. Maybe if I got any little grit or something in the... It spins, and that centrifugal force, it just spins out the water. Extra water. It works really well. It's got this little black device on there if you want to stop it. That stops it instantly. Let's take a look. Look how much extra liquid there was in there. I should have seen it pulls out. That's pretty clean. So we're just going to save this aside, wait until everybody gets here before we put it in there because we do not want our cabbage to be soggy. You don't want to put it in way ahead. Just put this lid on. Keep that closed. And give me a moment. I'm going to have you look at my table in a moment. I thought I'd give you a close-up of... Ooh, there's the steam. So there's the veggies, the carrots, some onion, potatoes, and celery with a little bay leaf, a little garlic. And then this is going to be, let me open up the pot of the corned beef and cabbage. And it smells yummo. Smells very good. That's a close-up of that. Close-up of that. So here's my little treat I was talking about that goes perfectly with our corned beef and cabbage is this Irish soda bread. And you can get that at any of your local grocery stores in the bakery section. And this one, you can get it coated with sugar. It's like a coarse sugar, has raisins in it. It's a dense bread, but it's nice and soft and a sweet tasting bread. And that Tastes nice with butter on it, toasted or just plain. And that's just a nice little addition. It's marked with an X in there. It resembles a cross for celebrating St. Patty's Day. So that's one of the fun things to our celebration, and I'll show you my table setting in a little bit. A lot of times they get the level, the stuff. Oh, that's the camera. Hi, friends. Everybody's gone home now, and we had a really nice dinner together. Our corned beef and cabbage came out perfect. Everyone enjoyed it, and I even have plenty of leftovers for tomorrow. So I've been editing this video tonight so I could try to post it for you, um, and- for it to be available tomorrow. And you probably already have your Sunday meal planned. But if not, you can check out this video and you can use this video for another time. Now, the thing about corned beef and cabbage, it's pretty easy to put together. It just takes several hours because we're slow cooking it. So it's nice and tender. Boy, it was nice and tender, let me tell you. And we just sat here and tonight earlier we played a board game. We played this game called Boom Again. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. We got it at Christmas time. I got it actually for my husband, knowing that we're gonna play it with probably friends and family. Excuse me. But it's basically like a trivial pursuit for baby boomers. So it was a lot of fun. It has little different categories like um, things in the news, things we learned in school, things we saw, things we heard. And another fun part is there's this one called Shout where you can just shout out the answer. Or, like it has a lot of like names of bands, or you have to sing part of a song from this one band. Actually, one of the questions we got was we did teams, husband and wife teams, and one of the questions my husband and I got is we had to sing lyrics from six of Frankie Valli's in the seasons. We had to sing lyrics from six of the songs. So they had like a list of maybe nine, but six out of the nine, or I don't know, eight out of the nine. Anyways, you had to only six out of the eight or six out of the nine. It was something to that. You had to sing uh, at least a few lyrics from six different songs from the Four Seasons. And my husband and I got it. That was kind of fun. It's kind of corny, but it's kind of fun, sing Sherry, Sherry baby, Sherry. Anyway, it has stuff like that, like song titles. And the hardest part was like the news, I think, because um, all of us were in our 60s, so some of the stuff questions was like from the 50s and the early 60s, which we were just babies then. So that was a fun board game. I'd totally recommend it. If you're a baby boomer, you'll have a lot of fun doing it. um, it's interesting what you remember and what you don't. So anyway, I thought I'd just share that little fun thing um, that we did with our entertaining tonight, and our table looked so pretty. So anyway, I always just make a little couple comments. You might just basic, simplistic dinner. Get together with friends. It's nice to um, jazz up the table a little bit and just give it some beauty and color. It just ties things together. And, I didn't have the fanciest plates there, just had something that was kind of festive. I used my green and white plates and some green chargers just to make it something a little special. And um, it was fun. So I will see you next time, and we'll see what kind of food and hosting ideas we can have because we've got Easter now, right around the corner. So um, stay tuned. I'll have some videos on hosting Easter dinner this next coming week. So we'll see ya. Bye.